Got a little more video here of boring out the valve ports for the new valves on the Cummins head. I just kind of wanted to show you what I've done now. I'm using this coaxial indicator, and before I was using the offset tool on it to do the ports. The existing valve seats. Let's not call them ports, seats. I was running the offset coaxial indicator around the valve seats. I came up to one where the seat, what I did after I did that is I would put the pointer in, it would take the coaxial indicator out, set the valve grinding seat tool post down into the valve stem seat, and then take a pointer and bring it down to the valve stem and make sure that it was fairly centered in it. And what happened is I've got a couple that really wasn't exactly centered. So what I've started doing is using this valve stem port to indicate it with this, and then I go back and just double check it as a visual reference with a pointer on that grinding stem tool, or the stem for the grinding tool. But what I do is to get a quick reference on it so that I don't spend a lot of time centering it on the X and Y axis is after I'm done grinding one of the valves ports, I recenter the boring head, the Centurion boring head, bring it over to the next one and kind of visually drop this down and visually line it up with the stem hole, which gets me really close, and then I don't spend as much time indicating with a coaxial indicator. So just thought I'd show you that. As long as I'm doing it, I'll show you how I reference it visually with the this is the stem that goes down into the valve stem seat for the valve grinding, or the seat grinding tool, and I just use that for a reference. And it's good this way, and it's good that way. And for my first cut, I just get down to the narrowest part of the bore, touch off, then I'll bring it up. Then what I do is just eyeball the bottom of the cutting tool with the surface of the head, and I'm taking these down about 400 thousandths. So I'll just watch the Z on the DRO and to when I get to 400 thousandths. Not a good place for the camera. I'll bring it back. Okay, so it's a new day. Figured I'd just show you the setup of kind of getting this in. I had bored that one out last night, so I'm ready to move over to this one. Now what I'm going to do is just the tool is above the surface of the head. It just doesn't look that way. I'm going to move it over and kind of line it up by eye. I kind of centered the tool in the boring head. It's not exactly centered, but close enough. And I'll just move it over, kind of center it up on the seat over here by eye. And then I'll put the coaxial indicator on it. So here we go. Yeah, there we go, hitting the tripod. So that looks close, and I'll bring it back. Kind of a little harder with a tripod in the way. You've got to walk around the tripod so that Probably gonna leave that at like within half a thousand. And I'll bring it back when I get the rest of it set up. And I'll bring it back in for my visual. And I'm good this way. And good this way, so yeah, visually I'm good. I always just like to double check it. You never know. Just some video here of I'm not really porting the valve exhaust and intake ports out. When I cut the new sleeve or port for the bigger valves in this, it left some plateaus, sharp edges, and I'm kind of trying to remove as much of that material as possible, kind of smooth out the flow of the air from the intake in, and trying to improve the flow of the exhaust out of the valves. So not really porting, just doing some cosmetic improvements. Let's not call it cosmetic improvements. Let's call it airflow improvements for both the intake and the exhaust. This is a ramp that I'm talking about. When I was cleaning out, after I bored out the valve port for the new valves, there is an existing ramp that comes up. It kind of creates a circular linear flow into the valve. Now there's a lot of debate about if you need to maintain that circular flow into a valve or into a combustion chamber on a diesel engine. It's very important on a gasoline engine where you have air-fuel mixture that you get a swirling effect when you're bringing it into the combustion chamber. It keeps the fuel atomized and creates a complete kind of a complete fuel area flow into the combustion chamber for better combustion. When the fuel is ignited, you don't get droplets or try and eliminate hot spots in the cylinder. Now with a diesel engine, you have direct injection into it. The nozzle provides that atomization of the fuel and distribution of it in the cylinder. So kind of how the air gets into it could be debated about whether you need that swirling effect in a diesel engine. But anyways, you can see the top of that existing ramp when I cut the valve seat out. For the larger valves, it disturbed that ramp, and that's what I'm talking about, the plateaus on the top of it, to try and just smooth it out, open it up a little bit. One of the things is you can only go down so far because kind of on the back side of it, you're getting to a point where, is it going to focus here? You're getting to a point where it's very close to water jacket walls, so you've got to be kind of careful about how you take it down and where you take it down to. So that's just a detail of, because I really, when I was using the rotary burr on it, you can't really see what I was doing, but that's what I'm doing, is just trying to even it out, to take those plateaus off of the top of it, get a smoother chamber in there, where I to the point where I had cut it. You have to be very close or careful on this side of it. There's a water jacket underneath it, and you can kind of hear by rubbing your finger across it how thin the material is there, so you have to be really careful. Just cleaning out the exhaust ports here a little bit. Try and port match him to the new manifold that he's going to get. You probably can't see it, but I've got some scribe lines on there. Top of my fingernail, there's a scribe line right there. Kind of hard for you probably to be able to see it.